this right. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to start this. And so what really came to mind was, and I want to know. So I see you on social media, other shows, and people talking about it, commenting, you doing the same. What did it feel like the first night they were talking about you?
The first night they were talking about me, who was talking about me?
Social media. Your show hits.
Oh.
So you were experiencing other shows, watching other people talk about it, and you talking about it.
Yeah.
Now for the first time, after all of these years, after the webisode and the book and all these things, now they talking about you.
We got a hashtag. It was surreal, and it was interesting because like the show came out 2 weeks earlier, just for like the pilot did, and I was nervous about that because I was like, I want the Shonda stuff, I want that, I want to have everybody watch it at the same time and experience it at the same time. But even that early release and seeing people watching it and talk about it, it was nerve-wracking. I remember I was in New York at the time and I was just glued to social media, like, what are people saying? What are people saying? They're like, oh, she don't like it. She don't get it. Just going through it. And then the night it premiered, that was just something else entirely. Like,
see, I wouldn't watch the 2 week.
You wouldn't have watched the 2 week?
No, because, and it's weird, I get advanced copies.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it.
I want to watch it with
people. I literally want to experience it in that moment.
Yeah.
Other folks.
I love the community watching, and that's what I love about the week-to-week viewing, like as opposed to the binge watching, because it takes away the communal experience. It takes away like people talking mess about it, people reacting live, and that was everything. And the finale, when that hit, that was like something I had not seen.
So I'm gonna
before.
get to that.
Okay.
But so the first night.
Yes.
You're watching the reaction. You're seeing the whole deal, and the name of the show is Insecure. Yeah. And you're sitting here going, okay, she tripping, or dude, what's wrong with you? Or
we had screens. So the writers and I watched it together. We did like a friends and family viewing, and we were at a Microsoft lounge and it had screens. So we put up like the hashtag screen. We had the unofficial hashtag screen, and it was just screens in the room. So we were all like drinking and just watching the feed live, and of course the episode playing. So it was just like you just got to see people's reactions in real time, and them either loving it or being mad at characters already or cringing with us or sometimes clowning or disliking it. But it was just cool to just be able to see people react to the show live, and to think of how long it took to get there. It was just so satisfying.
And that's why I think what I often focus on. I said this when I talk to Common. I said it amazes me when people, and I experience this as well, like, oh man, you hit it. And you go, oh, I don't think you understand. This thing started 34 years ago, 14 years old, communications high school. This wasn't,
it's been a
I
journey.
woke up. I talk about all the time, Bishop Jakes. Folks are like, Bishop Jakes, and he's preaching to all these different people. I'm like, no. I need you to go back to West Virginia.
Yeah.
And he was digging ditches. And so, do people really? So for you, how do you get people to understand that this was a grind?
I let them find out. I'm not mad at people thinking that it's just an overnight, situation that happened or overnight success. If that's what you need to believe for you to do this yourself and for you to have the feeling that it's attainable for you, then great. Like I don't ever feel the need to tell people like, oh, this is what it's taken, unless you ask or unless you question. Unless you try to come for me and say, you just got here, baby, and that's when I'll, don't try me. But I really focus on the now, and I know that, I've been doing it for several years, but I have a long way to go. I have a lot to learn, and that's the most exciting part, like where else I can go from here. And now that it feels like, this project's underway and it's happening, I'm working with great people, I'm just like, what's the next step? What else can I do?
Talk about the importance of right place, right people, right time.
That is everything.
Because this wasn't your first network deal.
It wasn't my first network deal. It wasn't my first web series that popped off before the network deal. Like, it's always You know, I'm very impatient and I can be impulsive. And so when things don't align with my timing, when I think they should happen, I get frustrated. And it's taken me so long to realize, like, just what you said, there's a time for everything. Sometimes you could be prepared all you want, but it's just the opportunity isn't there. Or sometimes you can plan and do all the things right and still get rejected. Someone might not understand your vision. And so for me, in some cases, that's consisted of being like, oh, you telling me no? Okay, well, I'm about to find this yes. Oh, you close the door? Well, I'm about to find this open door or make this door. But sometimes you just have to accept that it's just not the right time. And for me, that just involves creating another project or trying to find a different direction. Because I don't like hearing that. I don't like hearing no.
I remember when you had the ABC deal, and folks were hyped.
I know, I was too.
Then all of a sudden, it doesn't materialize.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also remember when Tyler Perry had an ABC deal, and when they said, "Can y'all hold off on all those Jesuses?"
Ooh.
And he said,
Nah.
"This ain't for me," and bounced. And folks, yo, do what you're doing. But he understood, no. If you're going to limit me, I know me.
Right.
Talk about that, because it's one thing to get the deal, but still not materialize into the project.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. And it's the hindsight of 2020, I thought I was ready because I'd been working so hard and I was like, this is my shot. And I had, a great group. I was working with Shaunaland and they were the most patient people ever, and in terms of helping me to transition from the web to television, because I had never written a television script before. But I think because it was my one shot, I was so eager to please that I lost my voice in the process. And I was just like, yeah, I'll make it work. Like network notes, yeah, I'll make it. And I didn't know what I was trying to say.
So you lost you.
I lost me because I thought this was my only shot and I needed to please. And I forgot like why I had been chosen to do this in the first place, that they wanted my voice. And so as opposed to saying and then being firm in my vision and knowing what I wanted to say in the first place, I think I was just easily malleable, and it showed. What I turned in at the end just wasn't really me. And I was so devastated when they passed on it because I felt like I blew my chance. But timing, when that door closed, HBO door opened, they were like, what do you have? And I vowed like, oh, I can't let this happen again. I gotta I gotta know what I want to say. I have to have my voice and make sure that voice is strong.
And what often happens sometimes is people will say, no, you're too pushy, you're too arrogant.
That.
But the reality is, if you look at successful shows and writers that are built on or built around that unique person, that is what's interesting. It's
right.
that you are unique, and so therefore, if you don't stay close to that and hold on to it and nurture it, yeah, it could lose you, and then...
Yeah, that's the essence of the work, and I think you get tempted, because I was working with so many great people, just to defer to them. Like, they know best, they have the experience, and that's true, but, you kind of have to count on yourself and realize what brought you here in the first place. And for this show, for Insecure, I'm surrounded by great writers, but it's about finding the balance of, like, this is what I want to say, and I hear what you're saying, it's great, how do we put it into this, how do we filter it through this specific lens? And that in and of itself is kind of an art. It's an art of balance, and it's an art of listening and knowing yourself too.
I was at home one day, and I was searching a bunch of different video apps, and I came across this AOL video. I think Baratunde.
Oh yeah,
did a piece on you.
Yes,
and so I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and it was interesting because I had previously interviewed you at an ABFF event and watched other different pieces, but it was interesting watching that and you talking about how you leaned on friends and other folks, and how it was this "it takes a village to make a show" thing. Well, all y'all was sort of in that same boat. It was kind of like, I'm trying to do my thing writing, I'm trying to do my thing lighting, I'm trying to do my thing directing. Well, we all trying to do our thing. Why don't we just do something together?
Yes, that's so real though. Like, One of our other writers, Amy Aniobi, was talking about, like, I was listening to one of her interviews, and she was like, we have a tendency to try to, like, when we network up, and it really is about networking across, like, who's next to you, who's struggling, who's in the trenches with you, who's just as hungry as you are, and those are the people that you need to build with. It's not about, like, finding, hitting up, like, calling Tyler Perry, like, how can I work with you, calling Ava to be like, how can I be on? It's about calling your college mate. It's about calling your coworker and saying, hey, you trying to do this? I'm trying to do this project. And literally every project that I've done, every friend of mine has been in some way, shape, or form because I needed them, because they were just down. They didn't, they're not even part of the industry in many cases, just to help me make it work. And I would do the same for them in a heartbeat. It's just about, I guess, passion and hunger.
And again, I'm thinking about watching that it's probably about a 5 to 7 minute piece. When you thinking about that whole process, do you think that made you even more creative? Because not only were you trying to do the work, but you're trying to convince folks, and you're trying to see, well, how can you fit in? How can you fit in? How can you? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to actually take this idea and bring it to life.
I think about that frequently. I was just thinking about that this morning, actually. Just in creating the first episode of ABG, of Awkward Black Girl, like, I had to pull so many resources together, and I had to hit up, a couple of random people just to try to put this story together. And then even in the brokenness of not having an editor and editing it myself, trying to tell the story because I couldn't afford to get this shot that I wanted or go to this location that I wanted, and piecing that together, there's so much creativity in brokenness. Like, brokenness will have you making it work. And there's an essence there that I'm wondering.
It's like growing up, and there's a bunch of people in the house, and there's one chicken.
Yes.
And it's like,
so you're gonna make a chicken skin sandwich.
It's like
you're gonna make a tortilla soup of chicken. Like, you gotta make it work.
You gotta figure out, okay, I gotta eat. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with all this to make it. And that's why I raised the question about the level of creativity.
Yeah.
Because that's what you have to do. It's lit. As I sit here, I can imagine you going through one of these projects, and it's kind of like, okay, we don't have quite the industry lights, so let's see what brings us close.
I'm gonna put this lamp in your face, this kitchen lamp, and we're gonna make it work. But there's something like magical about that, there's an essence there that I don't want to lose. But, that happens naturally. Then it's just about finding what else in your environment. I mean, it's twofold. I think about finding what else in your environment that still reflects your essence, and then continuing to maintain, people around you who are still grounded and who are still in touch. And just that, you gotta hold on to that broken energy, because I love making relatable stuff, and so much of that stuff is, it makes you relatable. It makes you, people feel like they're connected to the story.
Well, let's go back to Awkward Black Girl, because it's one of those concepts where if someone hears it, they go, oh, I'm sorry, what do you mean? And I understand that, no, these folks exist. And so was that one of the things that also was surprising when you were saying, okay, this is who I am? Oh, there's a whole bunch of y'all out here.
Yes. And that was rewarding, because when I was like, I can't be the only one that thinks like this, that feels like this. And then to put it out and get, like, the first episode, the first day, people sending me letters like, girl, that's what I am, and I didn't know. And I think about it because someone told me when normally I don't tell people about the projects that I want to do, because I don't want to, some people have a tendency to be like, you should do this, or discourage you from doing it.
Right.
And I would get in my own head. And I remember telling someone I was thinking about doing a project called Awkward Black Girl. And he was like, why you got to put the black in it? You should just call it Awkward Girl. And I was like, but that's, like, the black part is what makes it special. Like, we don't get to be those characters. And I'm so glad that I did, because that is in and of itself an identity that we're not allowed to have, or we weren't previously allowed to have. People didn't know about us, so we came out the woodwork. We came out the closet.
Was this what you always wanted to do, or did you kind of fall into this thing and just, okay, I can do this?
That, I wanted to be a writer. I knew that. I wanted to direct.
I want to be a writer. You wanted to be a television writer?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be a book writer, a novelist? Or
television writer, film. I wanted to be a screenwriter.
So when did you know you wanted to do that? What age?
When I moved to LA at 11, when I moved back to LA, I went to a Moesha live taping, and they gave me the script. And prior to that, I've been writing like short stories, little plays, and things like that. But being on the set,
so you go to the show,
seeing how that worked, I won like a script,
right?
The teleplay of it, and I remember just like, oh my God, I got the formula in my hands. Like I could write television shows just by using this as a template, and wrote an original teleplay and then a spec screen, a teleplay for Cosby, like the new version. I was 11. And my grandma helped me copyright it, by sending it to yourself in the mail and let me use her computer.
Which don't work.
It does not work.
That whole idea of, no, here is the really cheap way to do a copyright.
Does not. Yeah. But I had so many. And wasn't nobody trying to steal my idea or script. But, like, I remember her helping me to find the addresses. I sent it to CBS. I sent it to NBC. And I wanted to, it was unsolicited, and they were kind enough to write me back and be like, girl, no, we don't, calm down. We don't take unsolicited scripts. And so then I fell back on it and just continued school, still kept doing plays. And then when I was 16, I saw Love and Basketball, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go back into, like, I want to write films. Mm-hmm. And Gina Prince Bythewood is a huge inspiration for me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I felt like, I ended up writing my first film script after watching that movie and hitting her up. And she wrote me back, and encouraged me in a letter that I've still kept to this day.
The reason I asked that, because we talk to athletes, mm-hmm. and I played Pop Warner and did this. We might talk to somebody who's a singer or whatever, but we rarely, as far as I'm concerned, hear from folks who are behind the scene, that moment of inspiration at that particular age. When I had a conversation with someone and they said, but, oh man, so what, in college? I was like, no, I decided my high school. Mm-hmm. And they like, okay, when you were 14? And I go, yeah. It was like at 14. And I need people to understand that you don't have to be that athlete or that person on the stage to have that moment of inspiration at an early age and then stick with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've changed so many times. Like, 5th grade, they put me in a play, Midsummer Night's Dream, and I played a boy, Demetrius. And I was like, oh, this acting thing is dope. But then, I acted all throughout high school, and wrote my first play when I was in church, in 7th grade. And it's shifted. I was like, oh, I want to be an actress. Oh, I want to be a writer. Oh,
okay, hold on. I got to stop you there.
Yeah.
When you say you wrote it in church, was the preacher that bad that the sermons were not interesting? So you literally wrote it in the pew?
No, we had
Don't front
Sunday.
Now.
No, my mom would have.
Like, I was in church.
No.
I wasn't feeling the sermon, so I was like, let me just start working.
Pinched. My mom would have done one of those pinch if you don't pay attention. So no, it was. She
thought you were doing sermon notes, and you were really writing. You were really writing.
I should have done that. All that wasted time not listening.
My baby taking copious sermon notes. Yeah, this is a play.
She wishes. But no, I put on a play called The Ode and the Rested. And
The Ode and the Rested.
Yes, it was about art. We went to a church that was, bless his heart, it was very popular amongst the elderly. And
seasoned saints.
Yes.
See?
Very, very seasoned.
They watch TV.
I want them to be reflected.
Seasoned saints.
Seasoned saints. Yes. So that was like our pastor was super encouraging at the time and was like, you should do this. And I was like, really? But then all that to say that, like, I wanted to do plays. I wanted to do films. I wanted to do television. I didn't have a focus. I just knew that I wanted to be in it. And it shifted until I fell into, after being, rejected in film and rejected in television, like, oh, I can do this web stuff and have a direct audience and no one's telling me no.
So you were writing, but what about the shooting part? I mean, was that learning on the fly and was that, because when you were doing the webisode, you were doing everything? Yeah,
so because I had, I watched a lot of television, I watched a lot of film, I, taught myself the basics, and then to hone the skills, took some time off of college to take classes at New York Film Academy just to learn the basics. I knew that that's not something I wanted to do in the long run, but to be able to create, I hate relying on people. I hate feeling like I'm burdening people by asking them for help. So I just wanted to learn as many skills as I could to be able to do the bulk of it by myself. And then, when people see that you're serious about something, when people see the work, then they volunteer to help. They say, hey, if you ever need somebody, you could use me. And so I allowed myself to get to that point so that people were reaching out and saying, and offering their own services. So I didn't have to feel bad about, hey, can you come do this for me? Can you come and edit and shoot this? But friends, for example, like the first episode of Awkward Black Girl, I asked my best friend to shoot it. I was like, Devin, girl, can you come shoot this? And she was like, I don't have experience, right? And I was like, just point and click. We got this. And we did it.
As long as you keep the head just inside the box, we're good.
And she did a great job.
How long did that last? How many episodes did you do? How long did you do that?
For Awkward Black Girl, we ended up doing 24, 2 seasons. Yeah.
2 seasons. And then you transitioned to what?
Then I got the opportunity with ABC, and then that did not happen. And then and then HBO called and asked me to pitch something to them, and that's where Insecure came about.
Now, how long was that process? Because that's the other thing. Folks just say, oh, show popped up. No, it's a whole process that leads up to literally you seeing the debut show.
Heck yeah, the pitch, the writing of it, which also took it took 2.5, 3 years. I ended up being paired with Larry Wilmore, brought him on after I pitched the show, and he helped me, and just even that process. Then they had to say, there was draft after draft after draft. Then after you submit that script, they have to say, yes, we'll take it to pilot, we'll shoot your pilot. And even that pilot, once you're shooting it, once you're feeling yourself, you're still in their hands, at their mercy to say, no, we didn't really like this pilot, it didn't work out. So
as you're going through this, are you thinking about that ABC experience? Or you're saying, it's out of my mind, I got to only focus on this? Because, that's a long period of time that you're investing in a lot of time that might get another no.
That's why I didn't want to put all my eggs in that basket. I was doing a lot of other projects at the same time. I started an initiative called Color Creative to help up and coming writers, because I didn't want them to go through the same thing that I was going through in terms of allowing them to have their own project to show. Because there were so many times that I was just like, man, if they would just let me make it right now, they would see that, I got this. Mm-hmm. People will watch this. And in reading, I was meeting a lot of other writers and reading their scripts and wanted them to be able to have that as a calling card, in the same way that I had Awkward Black Girl as a calling card, and other projects. So during Insecure, I was definitely focused on, I'm going to make this the best that I can. I'm not going to let this be watered down in the way that I allowed, previous projects to be watered down. But I was also if this don't work, I know I got A, B, C, D, and you just always have to have a backup.
What's the status of that project? Because I think I interviewed you about that.
Yeah.
And so is that still ongoing?
Yeah, we're still working with, so Color Creative has worked with a bunch of different production companies and helped different writers. We've helped them get representation. We've helped them get staffed in writers' rooms, and we're still helping. We just launched a contest a couple of weeks ago to help writers make a young adult pilot. So we're still working and providing underrepresented writers opportunities.
There are a lot of people who are creators and writers, and they're just behind the camera. Why did you want to do both?
I didn't. It all happened kind of by accident. It's the best thing that happened to me.
So which one would you have preferred? So we say it did. You would rather be
behind the scenes. I love being behind the scenes. I fell in love in college. I was acting, like I said, in high school and stuff. And in college, there weren't many roles. And so, especially for people of color. And so I was like, let me just create a play. I'm going to adapt Spike Lee's School Days. I want to direct it. I'm going to produce it. And I fell in love with that. And then I worked with actors who were actually great. And I was like, oh, maybe it's a good thing I'm behind the scenes. This is so much better. And then forgot about that. And even in creating web series, I created 2 web series before Awkward Black Girl and was, shooting and editing those projects. And I wanted someone else to play the role of Awkward Black Girl. But I came up with it when I was on the East Coast. And she lived in D.C., I lived in New York. And I told her about it. And she was like, yeah, girl, I got you. But I never executed the project until 2 years later when I moved back to L.A. And I remember hitting her up, girl, I still want you to do this. Will you be in it? And she was like, girl, I'm in law school. And so I felt like I was running out of time. And I was like, you know what? I know who this character is. I can do it. I'm going to put myself in it because I'm running out of time. Somebody else is going to take this idea if I don't just do it. And I put myself in it. And, you know, it took off in a way that I didn't expect. And I was really nervous about putting having done the 2 other web series. One featured my younger brother. I saw the comments that they got. People are mean. So I was like, but I didn't care. I was like, that's y'all. Like, nobody sees me. And so putting myself out there was just like, I was a wreck of just thinking about what people would say, but I had to get past that.
And part of the thing when you're on front of the camera, you have to be concerned about folks are going to comment about everything.
Yeah.
Your hair, your makeup, your clothes, insecure. You're sitting here, y'all in bed, you're undressed. They comment on the bra.
Oh boy.
They comment on the shoe. I mean, and you going, can you focus on what?
I know. Can you focus on what we wrote?
And you tripping on my fingernail polish.
Yes. Yes, but it comes with the territory, and I was one of those people, so I can't be mad at that. Like I was an avid hate watcher, and it wasn't until like I got up there and started receiving it where I was like, whoa, I would never do this again. I have a new sympathy for people, but it's just that comes with the territory. Some people, for the most part, and you know this, people are nicer than they are mean for the most part. Like people want you to succeed. They want to enjoy your stuff. And if you don't give them a reason to hate, then they won't hate you. But they're just, of course, a select group of people who just are haters, who are mad, or who love to laugh at people. And that's just what they do. And it's fine.
But do you now have to care about things that you otherwise would not care about? I mean, I'll just give you an example. So Henry, who works on my show, I always include him in these stories because I always talk about him like a dog. So Henry, I'm always killing Henry on some outfit he's wearing. Always. I'm talking about jacket, whatever. He has his Mr. Rogers sweaters and stuff like that. I'm always killing him. So it got to the point where he gets dressed in the morning. He's kind of like, he gonna talk about this jacket.
Yep.
So he'll go, and he's like, I'm actually changing jackets because is in my head.
It's real. It's real. Part of me has done that to a degree. But the other part of me is like, I'm still me at the end of the day. I'm not living for these people. I'm going to wear my jeans and chucks. Like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. So I think it's a balance. Bless Henry's heart. I feel him. I get it. There's certain things that I will never do again because I've been dragged and roasted.
But when he wore the white jacket, the whole staff said, when Roland walk in here and see you in that white jacket, we just gonna pray.
You're still laughing about it now. You have no
No, you understand. You understand. I tell him, you gotta go with the bit.
Henry, I feel you. But it's real. Like, it comes with the territory, honestly. But you just gotta be confident in what you do. You gotta rock it.
I asked you this off air, so I asked you on. So I walk in, I said, no, actually, I saw something. I'm like, he said drop some weight. I said, wait till I talk to her. So when we sat down, I said, what's your diet? You like, sex scene on TV?
Yep. You know, we spent a lot of time in the writer's room.
And the bedroom.
Well, initially, the writer's room first, so it was just a disconnect. I disconnected from the fact that I was going to be playing this person on screen. And so we wrote all the scenes. I was like, yeah, this going to happen, and this going to happen, and yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then it got to the first day of shooting, and I was like, oh, wait, I'm doing this. And we wrote this scene, and we wrote, that's me. This body about to be on screen? What? No. And so I had to, like, I was like, I'm not going out like that. I'm not. And it's a different story when it's like you out there and people, like, I'm already sensitive about my body in the first place. So to imagine, you know, millions of people seeing it, I was like, I just want to tighten up for me. And it had nothing to do with, like, I've always, you know, I'm like Luther Vandross with my weight. You know, I go up and down, but to know that there are going to be eyes on you does a certain thing. And
okay, so now the problem with that is people really like Big Luther. And they didn't like Lil Luther.
I liked both.
They thought Big Luther sang better than Lil Luther. So what if people say, We like Big Issa.
This is me though. This is you can like Big Issa. I like Big Issa. I like Little Issa. And I still feel like I just want to be healthy at the end of the day. I want to look at myself and not be like looking like this on TV. And on the off season, I'll continue to eat everything.
Here's what I think is so. What is the deal with this show, where folks really get personal? I mean, I'm sitting, I'm watching the show, and I'm looking at the comments, and folk were getting a little aggressive.
They were getting real personal.
I'm talking like
it was my life.
It was no. They were picking sides. No, I'm with the chick at the bank. Yeah. I'm with. I mean, I'm going. Y'all, it's fictional.
Yeah, I know.
Black folks were getting a little extra.
But I loved it so much. Part of me, when they started getting personal, when people were calling me all type of B words in my mentions and the cheater, like just coming for me, I was like, hold up. But I didn't help the situation by also calling the character Issa, like we share the name, and that was a big mistake. But I just...
Thinking back, you were like, I should have called it Kim.
Yeah! I should have. I think about that frequently, but it is what it is, and I'm like, it's about a character's growth at the end of the day.
Like the character's name, it ain't a biopic.
It's not.
But have you gotten folks, though, who think that this is actually your life story, 100%. And they roll up on you?
Mad. I mean, someone was like trying to get my attention and was like, broken pussy! And I was like, first of all, that's not even, my character wasn't even the one that like went through that. So what are you doing? But I mean, that's just the nature of it. Some people look at TV and think it's a documentary.
And y'all were in public.
Yes, we were in public.
And you probably
and I turned around.
You probably
like an idiot.
You know we in public.
Stop.
You just don't shout that in public.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a compliment at the end of the day. I'm like, you're watching, you're invested, you're into it,
Broken
and you're relating to the character. No, that in particular was not a compliment, but he was watching.
Gotcha.
So I'm happy. And the guys getting invested was the best part and the biggest surprise to me. Like it's a show about Black women, in my opinion, for Black women, though it's a very specific story. I didn't make it about every Black woman. But to see guys like really invested in it and identifying with the character of Lawrence or just really getting in their feelings, like that was rewarding.
I know. I'm sitting here and like I said, folks were getting a wee bit aggressive.
Yeah.
And you had bras who were pitted against sisters and who were like, look, the brother trying to have his dreams and you killing it.
Yes.
Then you gonna cheat. And I'm going, yo, I mean, I got 2 or 3 tweets. But then when you started seeing,
after the
show, extent of roots, that, like, dude, you're writing a Roots Alex Haley book. Seriously, we
were excited.
And then we get to the finale.
Yeah.
And I knew something was up when the finale hit. And 4 days later,
I went on my timeline and, I just scroll Twitter in the morning for news and obviously, follow people, a lot of people I don't know, but who I love whose opinions I love to read. Mm-hmm. And so to go on and in my regular feed, just see my name, the character, Lawrence's name, like just people talking about that, just independent, just by itself. I was just floored. I was like, I'm not even searching for this and it's just on my mind.
I was cracking up. I mean, literally I said, y'all, that dropped Sunday.
Bless them.
We're about to hit Friday. And they were just straight, I mean, they were battling.
And we didn't expect that at all. We didn't set out to make like an explosive finale. We set out to just, tell a true story. And when it comes to women being, cheating at the end of it, being dissatisfied. I'm trying not to give a spoiler, but like when that happens, there's just such a double standard.
If they have not seen the show by now, that's their problem.
Spoiler alert.
Right. No, this ain't a spoiler alert.
I mean, I just don't want.
It's a late as hell alert.
Some people might not have seen it.
Okay, you know what? They're late as hell.
Okay.
No, there's a window.
Can you at least say spoiler alert? We about to give.
No, because there's a window.
You one of them people.
No, there's a window.
There's not a window.
There
you get at least a year in the new day. There's too much television to watch.
No, it's not too much television.
There is too much television.
A year's too long. I'm sorry. Because
what can I spoil for you right now that's a window?
Go ahead. Here's what. You can't spoil it for me. Because you know what? I'm going to watch it and enjoy it like you ain't say nothing.
I can't even think of it.
I can't.
The Americans?
I ain't watched the show.
You should watch the show.
Okay, I'm a little busy.
We're digressing.
I'm a little busy.
Watch it on the plane. You on the plane 24/7. You got that's at least 2 seasons of the show.
I sleep on the plane.
Okay, fair enough.
Because when I'm out the plane, I'm working. So I mean, I have it on my list of things I would like to get around to watching. Like I saw a promo, and then I realized they were like, what was it, about season 7, 8 by now?
It's very relevant for what you do and what you talk about.
So I was kind of like, I want to check that. Then they said, oh, this is season 5.
Season 4. It's only 4 seasons.
Hell, I got to catch up 3. At least it was season 2. I can catch up. But that was, once you get past 3, that's too much backtracking I got to do.
Don't do it. It's only 12 episodes, 13 episodes. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Right, I didn't bring it up.
I was very excited.
I'm trying to focus on your show. I ain't bring
I get
up
real
other
passionate
shows.
about other television shows. They inspire me.
So you think there's a year's time before we can talk about the show?
I want people to just, I don't want it to spoil it for people. I want people to have their own experience.
Okay, but isn't that a problem? Okay, isn't that a problem when we try to have a conversation? Because you're at the dinner party and like, no, don't say that. I didn't see it. And so now it's 6 people at the table
who want to
talk about it. But it's that one person over here who has yet to see it. See, you know what I'm gonna tell you? You can go to the bathroom.
You gonna uninvite me to your party?
No, I'm just gonna say you can go to the bathroom. You can go and sit there.
Why do you?
Because we're trying to talk about the show.
Well, this culture today, we're not all watching the same things. There's so many television shows out there. It's like a book. Like, they're all books at this point. It's like having several great novels. You can't expect everybody to be reading the same great novel. And select people on the same novel. Like, y'all got a book club. But it's just, that's the nature of television today, that there's just so much great content.
Bathroom. We're trying to see.
I'm never going to your party.
When there are 8, first of all, my party trust me, you're going to be cussing me out if you don't get invited. Like, I didn't get, I saw the pictures. I didn't. I saw you live streaming. Actually, have you ever don't do that. Don't have a party and live stream it. Because the folks who didn't get invited got really, because I threw TV One, News One Night anniversary party, which is also a birthday party, for tax reasons.
On television. They're Uncle Sam.
No, but it was actually an anniversary party. And people like, yo, y'all are really getting in. I didn't get invited. And I'm not shy. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
What?
But no, I actually do hate it when people do that. They make it uncomfortable for you to be like, oh, you couldn't invite nobody. No, I couldn't. I respect that, because people put themselves in that situation.
Right. Like I had this one woman who was like, oh, I heard when you got married, you walked down the aisle with your parents. Yeah, I would have done that, but you didn't get invited. Matter of fact, you don't have a man, so you wouldn't even have the opportunity to have that, because you don't even have a man.
Roland,
what?
You don't have to call everybody out. You don't.
No, you do.
You don't have to call everybody out.
Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, I have a show. Mm-hmm. You know what that show is called? No Damn Filter.
It's very evident to me. You're living up to it.
That's it.
You don't care about hurting people's feelings?
No, because I'm sorry. Don't ask a question. Don't ask a question.
They just want to be included in your orbit.
No, just like if somebody say, "How does it look?" Horrible.
You don't little white lies making people feel better.
No,
boosting people. What if she's having a bad day?
Don't ask.
Clearly, did Henry ask you? Did Henry say, "Hey, how does this look?" No, you just gave me your opinion.
Yeah, I did. Absolutely.
See?
Absolutely. No, I'm a firm believer in that. Don't ask.
Well, I will never. I will never ask. Yeah, I will. Hint taken. If I want to feel good about my day, I will not ask you a damn thing.
No, but but you look great, I'll be like, yo, that look good. That looks good. But if it don't,
you don't have to say anything. Silence is golden.
No, a question requires an answer.
No, it doesn't.
Don't ask a question.
You don't have to answer it.
Oh, yes, I do.
No. What is that? If you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all.
That's BS. I believe you should always be honest with people.
No, you can be honest.
If people know where you stand, and you know what?
Then I can ask questions. That's it.
I learned that most people appreciate a great answer.
Yeah, I mean, they appreciate a great answer, not a mean answer.
But it's not mean.
Not an answer.
It's not mean if it's truthful.
How does this look? Horrible? That would mess up my entire day.
No, it wouldn't.
I would go home.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would go home.
You know what? I appreciate that.
No, there's no world where I'd be like.
Here's why. Because you would say, you know what? You cared that much about me that you didn't give me a little white lie, that you told me the truth. So you did not allow me to walk out the house looking like boo-boo fool.
But I'm already out the house.
No.
I'm already out the house looking horrible,
apparently. Right. And see, here's the problem. If you walk out looking crazy, you know what I say? She don't have friends. That's because you have those.
So now everybody else knows.
Do you have those phrases?
That I have friends and I look horrible.
Do you have those phrases that when you're in mixed company, you actually can't say what you really want to say, and so you can't say, "Ooh, ugly," what she got on. You go, "She don't have friends." It's just like when you see somebody.
It's euphemistic.
From 100 feet away, banging, then they get closer.
A Monet.
And you go, 100-footer.
I've never heard that one before, and I'm so glad I haven't. That's the rudest.
No, it's not.
It's who do you say 100-footer to?
If you're afraid of it. Okay. So you trying to tell me you've been with your girls. You saw a dude from 100 feet away, girl.
My friends don't objectify men. We don't do that.
Right. Only
we talk about men's intellect.
Really? Gotcha. Only the fictional Issa talks about men in that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick by that story.
So we look forward to season 2.
Oh, so much. We're writing it now. Very excited about it. We're just gonna pick up where the story left off. You know, to be honest, we're just gonna continue to tell real stories. And when you think about if you were in the situation that Issa was in, or Lawrence was in, or Molly is in, think about what you would do, and it'll probably happen to a certain degree. But we just want to tell realistic stories about young black people. And you'll continue to see that in the seasons beyond. And you're going to see a finite story. I want that to be clear. I don't want this show to be like, 100 episodes in a movie. We're telling a very specific story of growth, and you're going to see that reflected through these characters.
How important also is it to be able to show the complexities of black love?
We don't get to see it. And for me, it's something to aspire to. The relationships are certainly dysfunctional, but there are relationships. And again, they're real relationships. And I think that's why people related so hard. I had friends of mine who were in relationships and watched the show and got triggered. And to me, that's to see themselves reflected on screen and to be able to say, oh, these people are going through what I've been through. It kind of normalizes our experiences and the black experience in general. And I think that's what we've also set out to do, to show our experiences are just as beautiful and just as nuanced as other people's.
What else you want to do?
Everything, dude. I want to do more stuff behind the scenes. I want to explore other mediums. I want to, of course, go into film. I want to go into, I want a studio. At the end of the day, Oprah's a role model, just for all that she's done, but I want to do it behind the scenes and in front of the screen. Who knows? But I feel like the possibilities are endless.
What does it mean for you? You mentioned a little bit earlier to be able to partner with a Larry Wilmore.
Oh man, he's a legend. He's really had a footprint, and what I respect the most about him is just how willing he is to just throw out the book, throw out what he knows. Just having all the experience that he has had, you know, coming up through classic television, and then even working on this show and the shows that he's like even Blackish and what he's been working on. He relies on what he knows, but he's also like, okay, if I don't know anything about this, let's make the rules. Let's make new rules, and it allows him to continue to be innovative and fresh. And for me, sometimes I hold on to stuff. I'm like, but it's working, and what this is a specific thing, and to be able to just like rip it up and start over is just kind of refreshing and takes courage to do. And that's the courage he definitely has and has passed on to so many other people.
As an 11-year-old black girl out there who's a bit awkward,
A bit.
who is growing up in a much different social media age than you did,
Ooh.
what do you say to her, who is being told by friends, who is being told by family, I'm not quite sure you really should focus on doing that?
Shake the haters off, girl, because you got this. I'm so glad I didn't have social media, the same social media that we have now, because I was already like cyber hoeing at a young age.
What can you define?
I was catfishing people when I was young. At 11, you know, I was catfishing in the 90s. Catfishing just happened now. So I can only imagine I would have been caught out there in these streets.
You were catfishing people at 11.
Yeah. I was an awkward black girl.
Okay. All right.
The judgment is palpable. Wow. But, you know, I made it out.
Okay, so
I'm here.
So since you were cyber hoeing, so what was your most creative catfishing thing? I'm not doing that. I'm not. No, were you like a 34-year-old?
I was a 34. I was a
longshoreman from Boston.
19 was like my sexy age.
Okay, all right.
At 11, I was like, you know, people would ask me ASL, age, sex, location, and I'd be like 19, female, Cali, and I'm embarrassed now because, and this is no reflection, but I was a 19-year-old white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. Ugh, I want to throw up. But that's the kind of that's not seeing reflections of myself on television, because I was going to 90210 and looking at what Kelly or Brenda, whatever the name was, looked like. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm so embarrassed. I am. But I'm me now. I don't pretend anymore. And I do not want that life.
See, there's somebody right now who's going, oh my God, I really like that 19-year-old white girl.
Sending fake pictures too.
You said fake pictures?
I pretended to be so many different people, and when you could find like pictures online,
right?
Even though they would take like hours to load. I remember I sent this one guy my picture because I really had a crush on him. He was like black and Italian. He was like super fine. He sent me a picture, and I was like, oh, I gotta send him a picture. So I sent him a picture, and he fell in love, and he was like, send me another picture. And I was like, I gotta find another picture that looks just like this. And that original picture was black and white, so I just Googled another black and white picture and sent it to him. And he was like, this isn't Shoe, is it? And I was like, what are you talking about? Yes, it is. And he was like, these are two different people. And the only thing it has in common is that it's black and white. And so he never talked to me again.
That was the end of that?
That was the end of that.
I
use my real pictures now.
So you still can't. You know that was the opposite. So you're still catfishing. Okay now. Okay now.
No, I don't need to catfish anymore. Gosh.
I'm sorry, it was sitting right there. It was sitting right there.
No fishing for me.
Okay. Not judging.
No, you judged already. It's out there. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
That was judgment.
That wasn't judgment. That was an avenue that we need to explore to go down that particular street.
All this out.
And to be able to.
Out.
I mean, that was a worthy path to roll down.
My parents know already. That's fine.
What there was a big reveal?
Yeah, I mean, when you're younger, you explore online. You don't know that like your parents might be internet savvy, so they were hip. My dad especially was just hip to all of that, and they were afraid. Like in the '90s, that's when To Catch a Predator, like people, that was like their pedophiles just had it made then because they were just picking kids off, so they were just worried, and they rightfully so. I'm so glad I didn't go to meet anything.
I got busted with a letter.
What? What?
I got busted with a letter.
A letter of what?
No, was I 16?
Like a love letter?
No, I was a high school sophomore, and so I was in this organization. It's a church organization too. So we actually went we went to Beaumont, Texas, and we had a meeting, and so several of us we went to the mall. So that was his sister, who was fine, bow-legged. Okay, at the mall.
That does not go hand in hand.
Oh no, she was fine and bow-legged. And so she was a college student. And was really feeling the brother. Now, she actually thought I was older. I did not see the need at the very moment to actually.
You were a liar.
No, I did not lie.
You admitted the truth.
No, I did not admit the truth. The question was not properly phrased for me to answer correctly.
I can't.
And so I began to correspond with her, and wrote several letters, and then she called, trying to figure out next time I was coming down on Beaumont. Dad was like, But see, here was the problem. See, here's how it got busted. See, the problem is she's working at a department store.
Wait, your dad opened your mail? Where did he see
Oh, no. Let me explain something to you. Daddy was real clear. That's my mailbox. That's my house, God. My room, my phone. His philosophy was, when you pay all your bills, then you are grown.
What mailbox bill you gonna pay?
Oh, no, he did. I mean, he's like, yeah. No. You don't see how ignorant my dad was? You ever had when you're, okay, that point that you probably, because I'm 48. You're a little younger than me. So you probably had your own phone.
No. Oh, yeah, later. Mm-hmm.
Later. No, I'm talking about when there was one phone. Mm-hmm. And you were on the phone, and Daddy needed to use the phone, and Daddy would pick the phone up and say, "I need to use the phone." Yep. No, I don't think you understand.
I do understand.
No. My dad would pick the phone up and say, "I need to use the phone," and wait.
Get off
he wouldn't hang the phone up to allow you 60 seconds or 2 minutes. No, he would say, "I need to use the phone," and wait for you to say, "I gotta go," click, then he was a little different. And so what happened was she was working at a department store. And you know how they out there, doing credit card applications and whatever. And that's how we roll up on her. So to continue the conversation, I need to fill out the application for a credit card. Oh, no. And then when I got denied the credit card, it was.
Did you fake the birth date?
It didn't matter because it was like, okay, the address, whatever. I'm not sitting here. I put the address down, and then he goes, "Who the hell filled a credit card out?" And then I go, "Wasn't me." And then, well, who? See, and then the story began to unravel from that point right there. And then that's when he discussed, how old is she? He had a little issue. Man,
did she ever find out?
Oh, no, he made it. Yes. From him.
He put salt in your game.
Baby, you can't call here anymore.
Oh.
My son is. I'm like, bruh.
I mean, I bet she would shoot her shot right now.
Huh?
I bet she would shoot her shot right now.
Too late. Too late.
Good man.
Wife was an ordained minister. She'll hit with some prayers. I don't think you want to hit somebody who can pray. Right.
I bet she's with a younger man right now that you might have opened her eyes. She figured out what she really liked.
Yeah. So that was so. Yeah. So that dad shut that down. That wouldn't have worked.
Oh, they're good for that. Parents do not care.
No.
My mom caught me on the phone, because I remember we used to use. I don't know if you had the sexy phone voice, and I don't know if you ever
Right. Had that.
Had the voicemail going? No. Yeah, when you had the voicemail. like you would play the music and then you put on your, hey, you reached. So my mom caught me using my middle school sexy voice on the phone by picking up the phone, saying, who are you talking to? And just humiliated the hell out of me by telling, like, you can't call my daughter anymore. And that's just what parents do. Parents throw all kinds of salt in your prepubescent game.
So I see a potential show here
About
tormenting parents or kids who have to just the constant abuse of parents. That.
But you have to take. What are they gonna do? Retaliate? You really? It's a rite of passage to just take your parents' shit. Ooh.
That's we got bleeps. No, but that is true. Actually, you know what's so cool about this is because then you also, as an adult, you have stories that you then tell.
Oh yeah.
That everybody crack up about. Yeah. Like Henry.
Yeah.
Henry was supposed to cut the grass. He fell asleep. He fell asleep. He was out all night. He fell asleep. In the morning, he heard it. Lawnmower. But then he tried to rush outside. And his daddy was hot. So his daddy threw him through a window.
His dad
threw him through a window. Glass and everything. His mom was screaming, Penny's gonna kill Henry. Penny's gonna kill Henry. See,
threw him through a window?
Through the window. See, that's what I'm saying. See, you cry like me. That's my point. Think about it. If we did not have these stories, you would not be crying and laughing right now.
Oh, bless Henry. Henry has been through it. You heard that story and you still clown him.
That's the beauty of imagine. You know what? Imagine. Here's the I think that show
You're
is.
rude.
I think that show is we just get a camera and we just put a group of different black people together every week and to tell their stories of just
trauma.
Yeah.
He lived to tell that story.
Yo, Google #team whip that ass.
What is it?
Me and Toure got into an argument one day about spanking children.
Oh.
And I said, you Team Toure, #Team Toure, #team whip that ass. Oh my God, the number of black people who told stories of literal abuse. But I'm sorry, they were hilarious. They were the most unbelievably hilarious.
That's why we're so resilient. That's it. We don't have a choice.
We got hung up on. We got busted.
Embarrassed.
We got
through
embarrassed.
Windows.
Yes, all of that.
We're the best though.
Right. Well, this interview was a bit awkward. So this was a awkward black girl and awkward ascot wearing black guy.
You're welcome.
And
with the matching socks.
Oh yes, no, we got the coordinates.
There it is. I did that for you.
With the pocket square too, because I had to coordinate with the aqua pool.
Oh snap!
Girl, come on.
Welcome to my house. Thank you. I'm glad we can take a swim afterwards.
Actually, it's 84 degrees too.
Pool. Yeah, it's
okay.
Really
I don't know why I would know the degrees to your pool.
Because you wanted it. We just got out the pool. You dried off.
Yes.
We did laps.
Yes.
But I'll give you a tour after this.
Gotcha. This interview is over. It is concluded. Thank you very much for watching. Issa Rae, we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now.
So here's the right. I was trying to figure out. How I want to start this. And so what really came to mind was that I want to know. So I've seen on social media, other shows and people talking about it, commenting, you doing the same. What did it feel like the first night they were talking about you?
The first night they were talking about me, who was talking about me?
Social media. Your show hits.
Oh.
So you were experiencing other shows, watching other people talk about it, and you talking about it.
Yeah.
Now for the first time, after all of these years, after the webisode and the book and all these things, now they talking about you.
We got a hashtag. It was surreal, and it was interesting because like the show came out 2 weeks earlier, just for like the pilot did, and I was nervous about that because I was like, I want the Shonda stuff, I want that, I want to have everybody watch it at the same time and experience it at the same time. But even that early release and seeing people watching it and talk about it, it was nerve-wracking. I remember I was in New York at the time, and I was just glued to social media, like, what are people saying? What are people saying? They're like, oh, she don't like it. She don't get it. Just going through it. And then the night it premiered, that was just something else entirely. Like,
see, I wouldn't watch the 2 week.
You wouldn't have watched the 2 week?
No, because, and it's weird, I get advanced copies.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it.
I want to watch it with people.
I literally want to experience it in that moment.
Yeah.
Other folks.
I love the community watching, and that's what I love about the week-to-week viewing, like as opposed to the binge watching, because it takes away the communal experience. It takes away like people talking mess about it, people reacting live, and that was everything. And the finale, when that hit, that was like something I had not seen.
So I'm
before.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But so the first night.
Yes.
You're watching the reaction. You're seeing the whole deal, and the name of the show is Insecure. Yeah. And you're sitting here going, okay, she tripping, or dude, what's wrong with you? Or
we had screens. So the writers and I watched it together. We did like a friends and family viewing, and we were at a Microsoft lounge, and it had screens. So we put up like the hashtag screen. We had the unofficial hashtag screen, and it was just screens in the room. So we were all like drinking and just watching the feed live, and of course the episode playing. So it was just like you just got to see people's reactions in real time, and them either loving it or being mad at characters already or cringing with us or sometimes clowning or disliking it. But it was just cool to just be able to see people react to the show live and to think of how long it took to get there. It was just so satisfying.
And that's why I think what I often focus on. I said this when I talked to Common. I said it amazes me when people, and I experience it as well, like, oh man, you hit it. And you go, oh, I don't think you understand. This thing started 34 years ago, 14 years old, communications high school. This wasn't,
it's been a
I
journey.
woke up. I talk about all the time, Bishop Jakes. Folks like, Bishop Jakes, and he's preaching to all these different people. I'm like, no. I need you to go back to West Virginia.
Yeah.
And he was digging ditches. And so do people really? So for you, how do you get people to understand that this was a grind?
I let them find out. I'm not mad at people thinking that it's just an overnight, situation that happened or overnight success. If that's what you need to believe for you to do this yourself and for you to have the feeling that it's attainable for you, then great. Like I don't ever feel the need to tell people like, oh, this is what it's taken, unless you ask or unless you question. Unless you try to come for me and say, you just got here, baby, and that's when I'll, don't try me. But I really focus on the now, and I know that, I've been doing it for several years, but I have a long way to go. I have a lot to learn, and that's the most exciting part, like where else I can go from here. And now that it feels like, this project's underway and it's happening, I'm working with great people, I'm just like, what's the next step? What else can I do?
Talk about the importance of right place, right people, right time.
That is everything.
Because this wasn't your first network deal.
It wasn't my first network deal. It wasn't my first web series that popped off before the network deal. Like, it's always I'm very impatient and I can be impulsive. And so when things don't align with my timing, when I think they should happen, I get frustrated. And it's taken me so long to realize, like, just what you said, there's a time for everything. Sometimes you could be prepared all you want, but it's just the opportunity isn't there. Or sometimes you can plan and do all the things right and still get rejected. Someone might not understand your vision. And so for me, in some cases, that's consisted of being like, oh, you telling me no? Okay, well, I'm about to find this yes. Oh, you close the door? Well, I'm about to find this open door or make this door. But sometimes you just have to accept that it's just not the right time. And for me,